It's my first foray into cardigans. So I've never done a cardigan before.
What does your fisherman rib one not count?
Oh, I did do a cardigan.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Dink.
Oh, I guess I'll go all the way up.
I got some Baileys in my coffee. It's good.
Oh, nice. I got an extra shot this morning because I was up until 3 a.m. trying to seam this sweater.
Really?
It was like, I was like, I'm going. And then I looked at the clock and it was like 3 a.m. and I was like, maybe I should try and go to bed.
Yeah. So I'm Coco.
I'm Marika.
And we are serial knitters. This is the quarantine edition.
Yeah.
Making things work. There is a outdoor preacher yelling into a microphone with an amplifier outside my window. So hopefully you can't hear it, but we checked the audio. Well,
5 stitches left. I'm just like,
well, then I'll go while you stitch. So this is my love note. We talked about it last time, finished object, although you'll see most people would say if these are hanging, it's not finished, but there's a reason. I thought that I had made the sleeves too long because when I first tried it on, it was like down to here, but as it gets worn, it like sinks back on itself. And then it's the perfect length. So I was trying to let it settle before I decided if I was going to rip it out and go back. And then we talked about last time, I think that this is a little too tight, the bind off here. It kind of creates this little bubble thing going on. So
it's very cropped.
It's very cropped.
That was the intention?
Yes, it is. You can choose to do it cropped or not, and I chose the cropped one, of course. But it's very cropped. It's like I'm wearing like a fluffy, I don't know, linebacker kind of pads. It's that length.
Well, it's similar to the other, why can't I remember the pattern? With the linen and the mohair that you did.
Ranunculus, yeah. It's just like that, only fluffier. So this is Berroco Cirrus, and it's mohair, nylon, and wool. It's a little itchy, but it's not too bad. And I'm always going to wear something underneath it because it's so cropped. But I think it's cute.
I think you're always asking, like, what color is good for your coloring?
Right.
And I feel like this is a good example of that.
This heavy pink?
Yeah, but it's got, it's like a very warm pink.
Yeah, it does have a lot of coral in it. Very corally. So I think it's a success. I would definitely knit it again. Like I was saying, this lace pattern is really great. It's very easy to follow. It kind of has these little diamonds. And then in the next row, the diamonds offset, but it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
And I know I've messed up a couple of times in it, and it doesn't really show. I was like, oh, I kind of worked it back together. So it's a little bit forgiving too, which most lace patterns aren't. But
looks very impressive at the end. Like I'm sure people will be like, oh my God, that's amazing. How did you do that?
We'll see. One day if we get to go back out into the world.
Yeah.
Once quarantine's over.
I know, it's definitely, I'm like, definitely feeling the hit on like I like to wear my knits for the public accolade thing.
Yeah. And like, it's hard to maintain fashion right now. Yesterday I went out in clothes that were like, you shouldn't even go out on this. But I was like, it's fine. Like, everybody's wearing them.
Yeah, I had a moment the other day where I realized I was fully monochromatic, where I have this like green army jacket type thing that I wear out a lot when I'm walking the dog, because it's like, it's got big pockets, so I don't have to carry a bag with me, and it's like, I don't know, it's kind of a deterrent for people to talk to me because it looks a little ratty, and it's thin so you don't get overheated. But then I like looked down and I was wearing these sweatpants with it that were the exact same color. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, this isn't a good look.
You were just all army green? Well,
yeah.
That's better than some colors you could have chosen. Like if you were suddenly found yourself in all yellow.
Yeah.
So like a big tube of mustard or something. At least there's no food connotation to army green.
It was just a weird, a monochromatic situation I didn't think I would find myself in, I guess.
Not intend.
Yeah.
Interesting. So this is the only finished object I have. Everything else is going to be work in progress.
Yeah, I thought I was going to have a finished object. I was up until 3 a.m. trying to like finish the collar and seam it, and I've gotten it. I just have to put the arms in is where I'm at right now. So okay. It's my Nightingale. I went back and I was like, I'm just going to finish it. So I think this is the back. There's all sorts of like, I still have to weave in a lot of ends too. But this is where we're at currently.
Oh my.
So it's got this like picot collar, which I've never done before. So that was an interesting process. And so it's basically like, and most of the time it's on like hems and cuffs and stuff. So this is the first time I've ever encountered it on a collar. And so it's basically, we can get real close, up close and personal with these things now. So what you do is you pick up for the collar, you knit in the round, and then it's a knit 2 yarn over in the middle, and then you knit and eat this. So the number of rows you knit to start, you then do that again after the knit together yarn over.
Okay.
And then you fold it over, and it gives you these little peaks.
That's cool. I probably have to watch a YouTube tutorial, but
yeah, it sounds the instructions were just like knit 2 together, yarn over, and then like knit 4 rows. And I was like, I don't see how this is gonna work. So I watched a YouTube tutorial to see how it all came together, and then I was like, oh yeah, it is just that. It's pretty simple. Which now I'm like, picot hems on everything. Right. But it does give you a double thickness. So you know, if you just have to be aware of the added bulk.
Sure.
So yeah, I could put this on real quick. It obviously doesn't have the sleeves in yet, but the side seams it's all seamed along.
So you've got a little vest going on here.
Yeah. And it's, I don't know, I feel like I've gotten real good at mattress stitch now.
Okay.
Like before I was like, what am I picking up? Where are these things? Like, and I feel like my mattress stitch kind of would like, you know.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, straight, these 2 rows have come together. It's like an invisible seam. I'm like, yes.
I am not a strong mattress stitcher. It's very on the fly.
Okay, so I'm going to step out of frame for a second. This is where we're at currently.
Can you go step behind the couch?
Oh yeah. Just since I don't have the arms in yet, the armholes are very large. So apologies if you see anything. So.
Okay.
This is where we're at right now.
Nice.
So if I put, this is where we're going towards.
Wow.
So yeah, it's not as heavy as I thought it would be.
Okay.
I still have to block it, which, you know, I don't really know what blocking does in terms of cotton garments, you know, like with the wool, I feel like you get a lot of
expansion.
You get a lot of expansion, and you also have a lot of control over what the final shape will be. Like whatever you put it in, it pretty much holds that. Yeah. And so, you know, you can correct a lot of do that so you can see the go collar. So you can correct a lot of things, you know, like if something's a little too big or something's a little too small, you know, you've got more room to play, and the fiber has like a more rigid memory, I guess, in terms of what you do with it. Whereas cotton, I feel like, is just going to do what it's going to do. But I do really love how I was worried that it wouldn't show all the details of the cabling and stuff like that.
It wouldn't have enough relief.
Yeah, like both because of the cotton and also because of this, the colorway I chose. Yeah. But I'm actually really happy with how it's showing all the details.
When you were back behind the couch, it's very clear. So it looks great.
Yeah. So I'm hoping with adding the arms, like there's supposed to be a bit of a puff, like the shoulders are obviously like hanging down a little bit and the armholes are bigger than they should be, I think. So I'm hoping once I get the sleeves in, you know, this seaming of the garment has added a lot of structure and like kind of like stabilization to it. So I'm hoping once I get the sleeves in, that'll help further.
Yeah.
Because when it was just pieces, I was like, this thing's like, I basically made a caftan is what it felt like. Like everything was so long and like stretched out and heavy. And I was just like, oh, I don't know how this is going to come together. But the seaming is definitely been a key component to it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I agree with you about blocking cotton. I feel like it just grows. Like it just gets bigger.
Yeah.
But you could, if it gets too big, you could strategically attempt to like dry it to shrink it back. But
yeah, I was wondering, let me look at sorry, I was grabbing the yarn so I can look at the label to see what the care instructions are, which I probably should have looked at before I even bought it, but.
Just assume hand wash usually.
That's what I usually assume. And then if it's like machine wash, I was like, yes, bonus. Yeah, hand wash cold. But yeah, I don't trust the dryer at my apartment building, but if I was gonna do it like at my parents' house or something where their dryer is not just like one heat until you go open the door again, I might, you know, play around with drying it to if I need to kind of add a little more structure back in.
It looks so good.
I'm very excited. Like now that the end is near, I'm like, yes. And it's not, I was worried because it's a worsted weight that it would be really hot.
Yeah.
Obviously I don't have sleeves on right now, but it's much cooler than the other shirt I was wearing.
Right. And because it's cotton, that's very helpful. But this is definitely going to be one of your like impressive pieces where you're like, look at how awesome it is.
Yeah.
This is very intricate. How did you feel about doing all of that like intricate stuff? I know we've talked about it before. You don't really seem daunted by it, but I still am very like, I don't understand how you even decide you're going to do this.
Yeah, I feel like anytime I have a chart, I'm like, I'm good. And it took me a minute to familiarize myself with the chart, but because it's so long, you know, you can kind of like you get into the rhythm of things. And you know, I knew I didn't have to look at the key anymore for like what all the cable imagery meant. You know, I was able to kind of like, you know, I knew where the twisted ribs were, and because you do it's like 160 rows of pattern. It started out a little rough because I think I got off somewhere, or I finished on the wrong side with the ribbing, and then, or I didn't repeat a row I was supposed to, and so all the cabling rows should be on the right side, so you should always be doing them on the knit side for the stockinette, but for some reason when I started out, they were happening on the back, on the Purl side, and that was like messing with my mind, trying to reverse engineer this purled cable, and so I think I did that for like a row, and then I just knit an extra row and then forced it back into the correct thing. So, but that was on the back, so I'm like, that'll be fine.
Yeah, totally. Nobody will notice.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Would you recommend this pattern?
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, it's definitely like not a pattern that you can, it's a pattern you have to pay attention to. So like, I couldn't watch any shows that had subtitles while I was knitting this.
Right.
You know, it kind of requires your full attention. And what I would do, because like it's from, you know, this pom-pom. And so I've been knitting it from the magazine. And I think for something like this, and I find especially when I have like a lot of charts or a lot of row counts I have to keep track of, it's really better for me to have it in a PDF format, and then I can mark on it on my phone or computer, or I have this like interactive Kindle thing that I can make marks on, and that really helps a lot, especially if I have to leave it for a little bit and come back. And since this is our shared property, I didn't want to make marks in it, so it was basically like a game of memory. If I left it for too long, I would have to like be like, I think I was on row 64, and then look at the cabling patterns and, you know, match it up to the chart to figure out where I'd left off. And for the sleeves, I ended up just taking pictures on my phone from the book and then annotating on that.
Right.
So,
in that book, what do you have left to knit? Because you're also knitting the Christabel from it.
Yeah, and I finished all the pieces of the Christabel, so the sleeves are all done now with their little, best way to do this here. Yeah, with their little corrugated rib detail.
Yeah.
So I have to, this one you block after it's assembled, this one you block before you assemble. So I just need to get my mom to confirm all of her measurements so that I block everything to the right things for her before I assemble it. And then I'll have to cast, and then you have to pick up the collar and the button band, which I will run out of yarn for. Like I'm probably a quarter of the way through the last skein I have for this, which will not be enough for the collar and the button band.
Right.
But yeah, so that's in here as well. There, every time I open it, I'm like, oh, there's another one I want to knit. Let me see.
Oh, I just shotgunned that coffee. As everybody just watched.
Whatever happened, like, you wanted to do the willow wood, right? Whatever happened to that one?
I just can't decide what yarn I want to knit it out of. Again, it's kind of what you decided with this one, the Nightingale, that, you know, I don't want it to be too hot. I think it's a worsted weight. Well, you have the book in front of you. But I know that they recommended it be in Woolfolk, and I wasn't ready to make that kind of a monetary investment in it. And I didn't want it to be hot. So I'm like looking.
Is it, yeah, so it is a worsted, and the recommended is Woolfolk Far, which is what I made my Valentine out of, and that would be a very, very warm sweater.
Yeah, a warm sweater and a sizable investment. So I was like, so I'm looking for alternatives, which I saw something. Oh, maybe it was actually this morning I saw your Will and the Gang Shiny Happy Cotton. Somebody was having a little bit of a discount on it. I was like, oh, worsted weight cotton, what could I make with that? And I totally forgot you were using it for your Nightingale.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's like, it feels really nice. Like some cottons, like linens, can be really rough on your hands.
Yeah.
And this one is like really smooth and soft. I definitely like would recommend a very pointed needle. Like I will.
I mean, you always very pointed.
My higher sharps again, because since it is a worsted weight, there's a lot of strands.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to like break into those and kind of mess up the integrity of the yarn. And so I find just the sharp needles help a lot with that.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how this one like drapes after time. I think that'll be the deciding factor for me, because if it gets So I did that tank out of Billie Jean, Wool in the Gang, Billie Jean something, and I was like, oh, I really like it. And then 2 weeks later, I was wearing it again, and it's just so heavy that I actually don't wear it anymore. So that was something I just got rid of.
Oh yeah, that one, because that one grew, like you knitted it, and then like as you were wearing it, it just kept getting like bigger and longer.
Yeah,
the way of
and
the arm.
heavier. Like it just felt like it's a tank top, and I felt like I was lugging around a 10-pound weight vest. And I was like, I don't want to do that again with a full sweater. So that's why I'm interested to see how this one goes. So work in progress for me, since we're talking about cabling and setting things aside for a while, I went back to my poncho that I don't think we talked about for, I don't know, months.
Yeah, and this was one where you were like, maybe I'll turn it into something else. But you're sticking with poncho.
Sticking with the poncho. So this is where I am, and it's knit. So you just like knit a flat piece, and then you seam. I thought I would have to seam this edge, but actually you just seam the neck hole, and then it kind of drapes this way.
Okay.
But it's called the Picket Fence Poncho, and it's got, I think we talked about before how I didn't understand when I bought it that it's not knit from the bottom up, that it's knit from the side to the other side. So you always have to do the little lace at the start. No, this is the start. This little lace part at the start, you go down the ridge, and then you have to finish with this lace part at the end. But this is one where I too have the pattern as a PDF, and I just get to mark off every row. So when we stopped last, I had done about this much of it, I think. Yeah, I had about this much, because one of our viewers who actually commented said, oh, you could turn it into like the back panel of a cardigan or a sweater if you wanted to stop now. But I kept going, and now I've got, this is 8 repeats of the pattern, and I have to do 11, and then it has like a ribbed edge along all the sides, so then I have to do the ribbed edge, and then I seam it, and it's gonna be done.
Yeah, then you'll have 2 ponchos.
I'll have 2 ponchos. And my mom was already like, if you decide you don't want it, I'll take it. And I was like, okay.
Right.
But this lace pattern, again, I have made some serious errors in it, and it's pretty forgiving. I don't think you can really tell unless you get up close and see, like, this part here at the beginning is just a hot mess of, like, it's just knots, basically. You can't even look at it because it's all bad. But then I kind of got the flow of it. And by the 8th repeat, I think I finally understand what I'm doing here. So it's great. It only takes over halfway for me to get what we're doing. But this is in the Purl Soho line weight. I don't know, it's a bricky color red. It's a little bit, I guess it's kind of true to color on the monitor here. It's kind of an orangey red. So, doesn't look like much, but it's almost done. Well, kind of.
Yeah, it's close.
More than halfway.
Yeah.
So, that's that.
I don't really have any other works in progress at the moment. I kind of went full force on finishing the Christabel sleeves and the Nightingale sleeves, so much so that I think I injured myself. We were talking the other day, like, because since we're working remotely right now, if I have any downtime, I'm able to have my knitting next to me and work on it.
Yeah.
Which means I'm knitting a lot more than I normally do, and then I'm also not in an ideal, I guess I don't even know what it is, seating situation for work. Like at work, normally we have like desks that can be raised and lowered so you can stand or sit and, you know, adjust it to whatever height is good for you to be comfortable. I don't even really have a desk at home, and I don't really have any desks or table surfaces that match any of the chairs I have. Like nothing's paired correctly to be at like a correct working height.
Right.
So that's been compounding. I feel like I've been doing a lot of this as I work, and then the knitting. So just this whole side of my body is real tight and real sore right now.
Yeah, you should get that. You know, you talked about it before when you were talking about your posture, but you should get one of those braces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because at least then if you're knitting, it forces you to like knit up.
Yeah, because I definitely notice like as I'm knitting, you know, normally I try and like sit back like this. And as I'm knitting, I'll definitely like
start to close in.
Yeah.
It's true. I have some more work in progress.
Okay.
We last talked about this, guys, the Cedar pullover, and all I've done is like a little bit on the sleeve. That's it. But part of this is motivated because my other project I'm working on, I desperately want this sleeve holder for the other project. So I picked this up and I was like, okay, now I got to finish this one because it was languishing because I told Marika, like, for some reason, I am afraid that I won't be able to line up the little ridges here in the center on the sleeves, that suddenly I'll be like really off and you'll have like one ridge here and then it'll be up here. And I don't know, I was just psyching myself out and I kept telling myself like, there's no way it's gonna happen. You're not gonna be able to do it. So I put it down for about a month and wasn't knitting on it at all. But then the other project, I got to the sleeve separation, I had to use one of my older sleeve holders? I don't know what these stitch holders. I had to use one of my older stitch holders and it's driving me insane. So I desperately want this one off of this project. So I'm gonna finish this project now because I just want the stitch holder off of it. So it's a way to motivate yourself. I still think that the bottom edge of this thing is gonna have to get taken out, which is unfortunate because it's a twisted rib and it takes so much time to do. It's going to be very sad if I have to go back and pull it out.
And that would be to extend it a little bit more?
Both to extend it and to do a stretchier bind off because it's a little tight. Which on this one, it's a little tight, but it creates this little kind of like balloon top, which is kind of cute with the crop. But that one is not a crop, and creating a balloon top right on the muffin top is like not the best look.
Yeah,
so,
not the ideal situation. Yeah, I was surprised. I did for this guy here, it didn't really tell you to bind off, but I wasn't sure. It was just like fold it over and whip stitch it, and I was like, I'm not quite sure how to do it. So I did bind it off first before I stitched it down, and I did the Jenny's super stretchy bind off. Just because I was worried about like
getting your head through it.
Yeah, and it's fine. You know, like obviously you can see it's not a super closed collar, so I think I would have been fine if I just did a regular bind off. But
would you want it tighter, like closed? You know, so it's more like.
It's definitely like you can definitely see the difference on here. Like it's much closer into her neck.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I kind of like it a little more open.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like things close to my neck, but that's because like I don't want you to like ring and then ring again. Like I want it to be a little bit further down so it don't look like a little tree there. But
yeah, I think with the white too, I like having that space just in case like sweat and makeup and stuff. It gives it a little bit more of a distance so this doesn't get all grimy.
It's a good call. Okay, so and this is the other project I've been working on. This is the yarn we talked about last time and how I was doing the Heli Chrysum cardigan first. Then I ripped it all out to do the Purl Soho folded something cardigan. And I was a little bit like, oh, it's too easy. I don't want to, like, it's too simple. So then I pulled it all out and I am doing the Heli Chrysum again. So that's indecision. This is the stitch holder that I hate, this guy. Because this little thing pops out all the time. So I'll be knitting, it'll, you know, because after I've separated, I'm knitting this way and it'll get, you know, crumpled up. And then I'll look down and it's like all the stitches are off of it. It's happened to me twice now and I can't stand it. So
can you put like a little piece of tape or something around
it? I don't know. It's so easy. It just, bam, it's out.
Right, but if you like put a piece of tape around the top, even if it opens, then the stitches wouldn't come off.
Okay, maybe. Or I could just finish that other sweater.
That's true.
So these guys are this huge safety pin. I don't remember what the vendor is. I got them at Stitches SoCal. But they're perfect if you ever see them. They're just this huge safety pin. And because it like really locks in there, can't pop open on you. Mm-hmm. Save your stitches. Okay, so anyways, this is in that stroll tweed from Knit Picks, and I think I'm not going to rip it out again, but I think it's not a great yarn for this pattern because this whole ridge thing down the back, you can't even see the little diamonds that are happening because the yarn is so busy.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot it had that thing. And I was like, oh, you can totally see the ridges, but yeah, you don't. The diamonds are hard to read.
Yeah, so I keep doing them because they're kind of like little mile markers and they give me something of interest to change it up. But if I were to knit this pattern again, which I'm not sure I would ever do, but if I were to, I would not knit it in something that's this busy. I would choose something maybe tonal, but so there's a little bit of a variation, but nothing that has both tonal and tweed and all this stuff going on.
But when you get up close, you can see the diamonds?
I mean,
kind of.
There they are. They're right there in the center.
Okay.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Not really. But it's fine. It's not so much extra work that it's not worth doing, but it is. This sweater is so hot. I'm like,
I know. I'm like, I'm actually getting cold because I'm not wearing sleeves.
I'm the reverse. I'm like, oh my god, it's so hot in here. Okay, anyways, but it's not so much work that it's not worth doing, but you just can't see it. I'll proceed. So this one, I will end up having to pick up the collar to do a shawl collar, and I haven't decided. She gives you two options. I guess she gives you two options for a spring version of this cardigan or a winter version, and the winter version has a bigger collar and long sleeves. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna try to do the spring, which is a 3/4 sleeve with a longer collar, or if I'll just stick with the spring.
I do like, it's got this very, at least the way it looks on camera now, has a very galactic feel to it, and I really like it.
Okay. It feels, maybe because I'm up close and I can see all the tweedy stuff is very brown and white. Mm-hmm. So it feels very woodsy to me, but
yeah, it reads very kind of like, yeah, galactic with little stars and, what is it? Like Milky Way kind of feel.
I hope I've done the increases correctly, or that the reason why I'm debating like the longer collar is because I'm a little concerned that this right here is, from the neck to the armpit, seems a little short. Like it seems a little tight. Mm-hmm. So I was hoping that the collar would add enough so that I wouldn't end up too short here.
Yeah.
But by the time I'm adding that on, I think I will have finished the sleeves, and then I can try it on and make that decision. Because I would hate for me to have done this section wrong, end up with something you can't really like fit on because it's too short, and then, you know, knit with this thing a third time. That would be a lot. But it's my first foray into cardigans. So I've never done a cardigan before.
What, does your fisherman rib one not count?
Oh, I did do a cardigan. I gotta fix that one. Yeah, actually, okay, I've done a cardigan before, but I've never done a cardigan where I had to pick up the button band, even though this one doesn't have a button. Because I've never done buttons. Because I don't trust my sewing. Other than that, I'm just every now and then picking up my little sock and doing this again. It's taking me an awfully long time to finish this sock, but it's just because I'll only do like a row every 6 days. But I'm getting to the end. I think I've got like 3 more ridges and then I can do the toe decrease, so.
Nice. Yeah, I'm debating about whether or not I should cast on my socks, but I don't even know if I have the right needles for it yet. I gotta look that up. Just to have something smaller to do. Because everything I have now is like this like huge circumference, and it's just like, I know I'm making progress, but it's not very apparent. And so I want something that's a little more immediately rewarding. So I was thinking about doing the socks.
The one thing with socks though is if you feel like you're a little too like hunched over and like down here, socks are worse for that.
Yeah, well, I think I'm definitely going to cast on the bell cardigan first, the bell Cardi. That's the next one in line. And so once I have that cast on and underway, then I might go back to the socks, because I'm excited about the bell Cardi because it's like, I think it's on like size 9 needles, and I'm like, yes, everything I've been knitting has been on like a 4 or a 5, and I feel like that's not like this. I knit I think I knit Continental. Yeah. And so this like right in here is super, super sore. I think because the needles are so small, and I'm like, and I also knit really tight, and I use metal needles, so you kind of have to have a pretty solid grip on them, especially when knitting with cotton, because everything will just slip away from you in an instant.
Right.
And so it's really been stressing out this little thumb right here. So I think maybe moving to some project on larger needles might help alleviate some of that.
It's worth a shot. It's definitely worth a shot. Yeah, I think that's my problem is right now, both the cardigan and the poncho are on the same size needles. So yeah, there's not a variation in my grip. And then when I switch to the socks, it like is worse, because then you're like, oh, so tiny. So, I think something on a larger needle would be good to break it up, but I am trying to finish off some of the projects that I have that have just been sitting around, because, you know, I reach a point where I find it to be a hang up and then I don't go back to it. So with the extra time we have currently, I'm trying to get some of those out of the way, and in an effort to, like, you know, use some of my stash and get some of that stuff down to be responsible. I'm trying to do that, but I was also irresponsible and I bought some new stuff.
Ooh, what are those gonna be?
So there is a pattern by Andrea called Velature or something like that. And let's see, I'll find it for you. But these are all Brooklyn Tweed. Which one is it? Prairie or Peary? How would you say this?
Peary.
That's why I always spell it wrong when I try to Google it. Because in my mind, it's prairie. I'm like, that's not how you spell that. So this is a fingering weight, 100% wool. But it's pretty, it's very springy. It's got a lot of give to it. Let me find this pattern.
Anyway, I do need to do some, like definitely I've been using this time to finish all the outstanding projects I have lying around. And then, you know, I do need to go back through my stash. Like I just peeked in. Ooh, I like that a lot.
So.
Oh, sorry, not to, since it's Andrea Mowry, how's the Weekender?
I haven't started it yet.
Oh, okay.
Partially because I wanted to get these guys done. At least, I feel like I need to finish at least 2 more things that have been just around. Because I have this little basket next to my bed with everything that I'm currently working on, and it's like overflowing. It definitely needs to get organized. It's got like my next up yarn, the yarn that I'm hoping to knit with next. And some of those I keep pushing away and I don't do anything with them. Like I've got this kit from Chelsea Yarns that I got in New York, and it's supposed to make a birds of the feather, but I'm not sure I want to make that shawl. But I keep that yarn in that basket just to remind myself, like, come up with something else to make with it. But it has 2 skeins of merino and 1 skein of mohair, which is like 1 mohair short of making anything like a full garment. So it's like I could make another ranunculus, but it'll be pretty much the exact same one because it's kind of the same colors as my other one, only it'll be even hotter because it's going to be merino and mohair. So anyways, that is all to say, I need to get that basket under control because it's so overflowing. But the only way to do that is to get some of those pieces that are just in there and I'm not working on them done. So before I can add the Weekender, I've got to get at least 2, I think, of these done and out of the way.
Yeah, I've definitely been clearing, like all of my project bags had multiple projects in them.
Yeah.
So I've just been trying to like clear it out. So now I have like 1 project bag per project.
Yeah. So that's where that is. I'm not likely to cast on this guy probably for a couple more months, but that's a lie. I'm not going to wait a couple months because it's a t-shirt and it's short sleeve. And if I finish it, I could be wearing it now. So in all likelihood, I might do this one before the Weekender. But it's supposed to rain in a couple of days here in LA. So I might end up, casting on the Weekender because I'm like, I wish I could wear it now. And then it'll just be stuck there. Because sometimes I've been doing that. I'll cast on for the current weather and then not be like, there's no way I can finish it in enough time to still wear it in the current weather. But I'm like, this is what I want to do. And then that's how I ended up with like 18 projects in that room. You would be surprised at how many are in there.
Well, I'm amazed because like I feel like I only purchase yarn when I'm with you.
Sure.
And so, or I consult you before purchasing anything.
Yeah.
So you're always very aware of what my acquisitions are. But I feel like you've got a whole secret stash I'm totally unaware of.
I don't know. Well, I went to Stitches SoCal when you were in Scotland.
That's true.
So some things that you'll see that pop up were probably purchased there and you didn't see them. But other than that, I think you've probably seen them, but it's not like you memorize them.
Yeah.
Anyways, the longer these sit here on this table, the more likely I am to pass these on today and not just be like, whatever, I'm living my life.
I grabbed this real quick just as a refresher of the bell Cardi I'm gonna do. So this is the the test swatch I did or my gauge swatch for the Belle Cardi with the little bells. And I'm going to do it in this color, which is lipstick red. It's Wool in the Gang. It's am I gonna have to go get the thing now? I don't remember. I don't have the tag with it, but we'll post all the info on it below. But yeah, I'm really, really excited for this one, and it looks really good on camera. It's a little more subdued. Like you can see there's like a nylon cord that everything is. I don't even know if you can see it on there. So you can see like the little white specks.
You can see it.
But from here, it just looks like a real bright red.
Yeah. That's another one that I'm wondering, another yarn that I'm wondering if it could be good for that. Not that I need to do it, but because the Woolfolk is also, it's a chainette, I think. Oh no, yours is different. I think I've got a different kind of Woolfolk that is one of those chainette ones where they blew the yarn through it, so it's very like fluffy, or it's very light. It's not fluffy.
The far is really light, but it's like a braided.
No, I think it's luft. I think I've got Woolfolk luft, but I've only got enough to make like a cowl.
Yeah, that Woolfolk is an investment.
Yeah.
But the colors are great. All of them feel great. It's just like, do I want to spend upwards of $250 to $300 on materials for this garment? Who knows? I don't know what my hair is doing right now.
So I think that's it of mine. Yeah, we talked about everything I've got going on. It's like, I don't think it's the most impressive haul, but I'm just plodding away with work in progresses.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of fun new stuff to show.
No, but the Nightingale is really coming together. Like
I'm excited about that.
Once you have those arms on, it's gonna be so awesome. Hopefully we'll be done with the quarantine so you can wear it out.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't say goodbye.
Oh yeah. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
A little shameless plug for the coffee shop.
Oh yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy knitting.
Happy knitting. Stay safe and healthy.
Bye. Goodbye.
Goodbye. So I guess, what have you been watching lately, or what accompanies your knitting time recently?
I've been listening to an audiobook. I thought it was an Agatha Christie original because her name is really big on the cover, and it's not. It is a book that somebody else wrote in the style of Agatha Christie. It's got Hercule Poirot in it. So I'm just finishing it. I was trying to finish it up this morning, but there was a car that, I don't know if you know this, but when a car horn starts to die, it just honks incessantly, like just high tone of it honking. And your options are pretty much to replace your horn or have no horn. And there is a car on the street that is facing that choice. So from 9 to 10:30, it was just the full tone. And then at 11, the church service started. So it's been a little hard to focus on my audiobook like I wanted to this morning, but I'm almost done with that. It's good. It's like, it sounds just like a regular Agatha Christie, so if you like her, that's an option. It's called the Monogram Murders or something like that. The audiobook, the guy who is narrating it is very involved. He's very like, I'm doing all the voices, giving you the full picture. He's doing a good job.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been listening to.
That's like the opposite of the one I'm listening to right now. For some reason, I've been on a very like big sci-fi kick lately for audiobooks. So I did The Martian, then I did Ready Player One again, then I went Artemis, and then I was like, nothing was appealing to me, so I went back through my Audible library and found this Audible original that I got for free like months ago, and the only reason I downloaded it was because John Waters narrated it.
And it's a sci-fi?
Huh?
It's a sci-fi?
Yeah, so it's called Junk by Les Boehm, and it's actually very apropos. It like starts out in Los Angeles, and there's what they think is a pandemic breaks out, and so it talks about like people wearing face masks and blah 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 blah, but it actually is I think an alien invasion.
Okay.
So in how your guy is like very like get you characters, da 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 da. I love John Waters, but there is no differentiation. When there are conversations happening, I am like, I have no clue who is talking, where it's switched characters. Like, it is just John Waters through and through.
Okay.
So sometimes I lose track of things a little bit, but it hasn't seemed to matter so far.
Right. You're following the plot. You just don't exactly know who's talking.
Mm-hmm.